Hi you guys, my name is JC Weaver and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about tattoos. I'm also going to include some information about the history of tattoos and tattooing, and then I'm going to talk to you some about the stigma surrounding people with tattoos, and I'm also going to give you some information about what it's like to actually go and get a tattoo and give you some stories about my first experience in case you are debating on going and getting your own. So I'm going to start off by giving you all some information about tattoos and their history. So no one really knows where or when tattooing began, but we do have some information about the ancient methods that some tribal cultures used. So I have two that I'm going to talk about real quick. So one of the first ones that we know of is when they would cut designs into the skin and then they would rub soot, ink, or ash, whatever kind of black substance they had into that wound, and then it would heal, leaving that mark on your skin. Then they would also sharpen sticks or animal bones, and then they would dip that sharpened into ink and then stab whatever design they wanted into your skin. In about September of 1991, archaeologists were digging in the Italian Alps and they stumbled across a frozen mummified body. And all of the skin on the body was still intact, so you could see markings all over the backs of the legs and his back. So they believe that this man fell about 5,000 years ago to his death and then froze like that, and they nicknamed him Otzi the Iceman. And they believe that he is some of the first evidence that we have of tattoos, or some of the oldest evidence we have of them. Ancient Romans hated markings on the skin. They believed that the body should be kept clean and pure, and they actually used tattoos as a kind of brand for criminals. So tattoos began becoming more popular over time, especially in the later 1900s. In the 1910s, it was super common for sailors and circus performers to have tattoos, or tattoos based on your profession. And then in the 1920s, it became super popular for women to get cosmetic tattoos. In the 1950s, they became sort of more of a masculine thing, and then in the 1970s is when they began starting to gain a lot of popularity. This is when you started seeing a lot of tattoo sleeves and all of that stuff. So today, a common, or the most used method that tattooers use is a tattoo machine, and it is a little machine that you insert needles into. There are lining needles and then shading needles. Lining needles tend to only be like one needle, and then shading needles are groups of needles which can have 5 or 10 or however many. So despite the growing popularity of tattoos, there is still a huge stigma surrounding people that have them, and tattoo artists and everything. So a stigma is when someone or something is looked down upon because of its association with a particular quality, circumstance, or person. So when you're different from what is mainstream to people, you're more likely to face rejection and prejudice. So you're even more likely to be looked down upon when you are responsible for what makes you different. So this is known as a controlled stigma, which would include tattooing, because you chose to do that to your body, and people see that as you shouldn't, or you should expect to be judged because you chose to do that, and you know that people don't like it, or some people don't. So some negative perceptions that people have about tattooed individuals are that they are not as motivated as not tattooed people, or they are less competent, they have bad social skills, they have negative personality traits, or they are really promiscuous. Research also shows that women who are tattooed are judged more often than men who are tattooed. It's legal for employees to turn down, or it's legal for employers to turn down people who are tattooed just because they don't fit in with their appearance or how they want you to appear while you're at work. So it is kind of difficult for people who are super tattooed to find a good job, no matter what their work ethic is or what. It's just based on their appearance, which isn't right, but it's how it is. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to go and get a tattoo. So I think the most important thing to remember about going and getting a tattoo is that you need to go to a professional shop. You want to be in a clean environment where the tattoo artist is not going to use dirty needles or give you some sort of really bad infection or disease or something. So that would be my first bit of advice. I go to Timeless Ritual. David Cooper does my tattoos. He is amazing. This isn't an ad or anything, but just giving you all a good artist if you decide on going and getting one. Then I also think you should put in a lot of thought into what you want to get tattooed on your body, because it will be there for the rest of your life and you want to make sure that it means something to you at least. You don't want a tattoo of a banana just because you like bananas. Like, you want something that means something to you. So I have 5 tattoos in all, and there's one right here, there's one right here, and then I have 2 on my back and 1 on my ankle. I would also keep in the back of my head where I would place my tattoo. Like, if I already knew my profession and I knew that I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, like, I wouldn't want to get hand tattoos. Like, that's just not a smart decision. If you have a set career in mind and you know that your employer or whatever is not going to care about you having tattoos, or maybe you're just going to own your own business, then you can put whatever you'd like wherever you'd like. But it's always important to remember that your employers will look at that tattoo and not hire you just because of that. So yeah, I think I might just be rambling at this point because I'm nervous, but I think that is all that I have for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing about tattoos and listening to me ramble about something that I really like. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day.